How are you all doing? Right, I just want to show you something here. We're gonna do, where are we? Sorry. Okay, I just want to go through some of the homework that I gave you the last day, because I know a couple of you got onto me and you're like, what in the Jesus is this homework that you're giving us? So I'm just gonna go through it really quickly. So it's the question here: critically analyze the impact of the multiplier and the economy of A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so what is happening here? Okay, well, let's have a look at 9a. All right, and let's see if we can make some sort of sense of this. Okay, so what's happening here? A decrease in income tax. So income tax is going down, which means your personal tax is decreasing. See, the amount of tax that you have to spend or you have to pay the government has decreased. Now, if the amount of tax that I have to pay the government falls because the interest rate goes down or the tax rate goes down, what does that mean for my consumption? Does it increase or decrease? If I pay less tax, my consumption is going to go up, which means I'm going to spend more money. If my consumption goes up and I spend more money, I'm walking into shops spending money. What happens to the multiplier? That's all the question's asking you. Is it going to go up or down? Is more money going to be circulating through the economy? It's going to go up. Okay. Personal tax goes down. My consumption increases. Part B. It says a decrease in the cost of money. What the hell is the cost of money? Cost of money? How does money have a cost? Money has a cost because for me to get money, I need to pay interest. And really what we're looking here is the interest rate on money. And if there's a decrease in the cost of money, it makes it cheaper for me to get a loan. So the interest rate decreases. So again, what's the result of that? Am I going to spend more or less on my credit card if I have to pay less interest? Do I spend more? I most certainly do. My spending increases, my consumption increases. So therefore, what we're talking about here is the multiplier increases. So more money circulating through the economy again. Okay, part C, what do we got? It says a decrease in exports. Okay, so what's happening in exports? When we export, what happens? We're exporting and money comes into the economy. So when we export, money comes in. So we export cattle, we export beef, we export milk, we export baby formula, we export services, ICT services, pharmaceutical. When we export a lot of stuff, we get more money into the economy. However, if there's a decrease in exports, which is what the question says, if there's a decrease in exports, why is this not working? Click. If there's a decrease, why is it decrease in exports? Is there more money in the economy? No, which means the money in the economy falls. So decrease in exports means a decrease in money that's coming into the country. If there's a decrease in money coming into the country, what happens to the multiplier? It falls, okay? Because again, there's not as much money circulating throughout the economy, okay? Part D, and decrease in imports, okay? So what's the situation with imports? We're saying that there's a decrease in imports. What happens when we import something? What happens when you import a phone, an Apple phone? What happens if you import an Xbox console? What happens if you import a pair of Nikes? You have to pay Nike, you have to pay Apple, you have to pay. Sorry, now I have a little 5-year-old interrupting me here. You have to pay Nike, you have to pay Apple for that money, which means the money leaves the country, which means money-wise, it is a bad thing if you have to import for the economy. Now, if imports decrease, that means there's more money actually in the Irish economy. If imports decrease, there's more money in the Irish economy because we're not spending our money on a foreign good. What is that? What's the situation with the multiplier? Well, if there's more money in the economy, the multiplier is going to go up. So rather than me spending money on a foreign good, I might spend money on an international good, okay, or on a domestic good. So rather than buying something from Nike, I might decide buy something from Dunn Stores, okay, wherever the hell that's made. Part E, an increase in government spending. So if the government spend more, what if the government spend? What does that mean? Government spending increases. That means the government is spending more on roads, more on schools, more on hospitals, and more on necessary infrastructure, which means that's going to have more money in the economy. So what's happening to the multiplier? It is increasing. Okay, more money in the economy means more money we spent. And part F, an increase in VAT. VAT, an increase in VAT. So what's the situation with an increase in VAT? VAT is a tax which makes things more expensive, which means the price of goods goes up. So inflation, we'll talk about inflation like that later on. If the price of stuff goes up in general, what am I going to do? It means your demand is probably going to fall. Price increases, demand falls. Am I spending much money? Not really. So how much money is circulating through the economy? More or less? Less. I'm not spending money. So what's going to happen there? There's going to be a decrease in the multiplying effect. Okay. The battery's about to go out now, but let's do part 10 really quickly here. I think I've done question 11 already. How would you describe an economy with MPM of 0? If it's an MPM is equal to 0, it essentially means trade, I should write there, international trade is 0. So international trade does not exist, okay? So international trade does not exist, which means therefore what type of economy are you? You're a closed economy, which is rare, closed economy. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. And if there's any problems with homework, just send me an email. Send me a personal email to my email address and say, sir, don't know what's happening here. Can you show us? And I'll make a video like this. I hope this is in some way useful. And let's get back to this. 6 minutes, not too long. All right, cheerio. Bye.